Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's been a couple weeks since I've done the Art of Relationship show, so I definitely appreciate your patience and me coming back, and I hope everybody's doing okay, and I hope everybody's 2026 is off to a good start, a decent start, okay? That would be fantastic if everyone's saying, woohoo, we're all doing great, but I know the reality, right? There's a lot of people struggling out there. And I want to try to help make your lives a little bit easier and definitely make your love life and marriage life, and also if you're single out there, make your lives a little easier and promote self-love, self-respect, and promote connection in your relationship or marriage if you're in one, okay? So we're going to be talking about communication, and communication tends to be the number one issue I get calls on, and I see excuse me, couples in my office, okay? So I hear it all the time. I get phone calls, emails. Hey, Greg, you know what? We have what's going on? What's happening, right? Oh, we have communication issues. We argue, we fight. We never resolve issues, right? Seems like we don't understand each other. So communication issue on the surface tends to be the number one problem I see in couples and marriages, okay? And I am going to get into this a little deeper and give you more insights that's going to help you communicate clearly and help you understand each other more. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to play the intro right now, and then we'll get into this right after the intro. Don't go anywhere. Peace. Hey, welcome back. That was a short little intro. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey, Dave, what's happening? I appreciate you tuning in again. And I'm sure you can correct me on a few things. Absolutely. I am your host. I always introduce myself. I am your host, Greg Dudzinski. I'm a fully licensed professional counselor here in the Detroit area, Michigan, of course. And I've been specializing, working with couples for over 23 years now. I have a lot of grief, a lot of trauma experience as well. I am a relationship and sex specialist. And I want to try to help people out as much as possible. Do I know everything? No. I'm very humble. If I don't know something, people ask me. I'm going to tell you I don't know, but I work my butt off to find out. Okay. Everybody's life is different. And let's face it, here in America right now, it tends to be dictated how you should live your life. And I am not, excuse me, I'm not into that. There's a lot of people that try to dictate how people should talk, how people should behave, how marriages look, how couplehood looks, how sexuality should be, right? I'm not about that. I'm about self-love and self-respect, and how do you want your life to be, and how I can help you and promote that. Oop, let me adjust the mic a little bit, people. There we go. And I'm all about trying to help people get to where they want to be, if possible, right? There are some people that no matter how well they communicate, one wants a child, the other one doesn't want a child, it's not going to work. People are going to try to convince the other one, or they're going to get me to try to convince the other one to change their mind. I don't work that way, right? That's not fair. That's biased. That's judgmental. I don't do that. So those are situations, no matter how you communicate, you still are, living a different life, and it doesn't work. But today I'm going to be talking about how you can communicate better so you do understand one another. And again, no one's perfect. Am I the perfect communicator? Not at all. I'll be the first to admit it. If you have followed me, you have listened to different episodes, you hear me coughing once in a while, my allergies kicking up like today. Excuse me. I trip over my tongue. Now and then I own it, okay? I'm very human. And I'm not afraid to admit it. So when we communicate, I hear this all the time, is it that we communicate, do we understand each other, right? You can be ticked off, pissed off at one another, and you're pissed off, and, at one another, right? So you communicate, fine. It's how you communicate and what are you doing to detour, get rid of, or if you want to say neutralize the arguing, the fighting, the misunderstanding that go back and forth over and over again, right? And again, I'm going to let you know, please share this, on your timeline, your page, wherever you're listening. And I want to do, my best to try to help as many people out there as possible. So I'd love to help as many out there. So please do me a favor, share it. More people, the better, right? As always, you can, in the comments down below, people, you can throw your comments and ask your questions down below. And I'll do the best I can to answer them. A little disclosure, this does not, replace actual professional counseling that I do in my office. Just a little disclosure. Hey, EHOB, hey, what's happening? So, there's no consent forms. I can't guarantee your privacy, HIPAA aspects as well. So those I can't guarantee, but I'll do the best I can to answer the questions to the best of my ability to help you and promote things that you can use right now in your life to, increase the connection in your relationship or marriage, or even help yourself hold true to your identity and who you are and promoting self-love and self-respect, okay? So, communication, all this time. I am going to give some examples, okay, through couples I've worked with over the years, no names, no one knows anybody, right? But it's funny how often I hear a lot of women that will, oh my God, he's like a child. I have to treat him like a child. He acts like a child. And I'm like, are you talking to him like a child? You know what? Is he acting like a child because you're talking to him like a child, right? And again, I'm not, bashing that, whatever. And, they might look at me like, do I? Are you talking at him? Are you demanding? Are you demanding instead of asking? These mechanisms or avenues, ways, if you will, to communicate are important. No, we don't have to be perfect. Not at all. There's a difference between, hey, take the trash out. Hey, hon, can you please take the trash out? How we communicate matters. I'm not going to water that down. I'm going to water, it down about being perfect. No, we don't. But the importance, how we communicate, how we connect with our partner, and this, you can use this for our kids, for your kids, whatever, right? Do you have to belittle? Do you have to demean your child? Do you have to call them names? No, not at all. So how we communicate will pave the way for us to be heard more often, more frequently, and more clearly. It's going to help us reduce the tendency for defensiveness, right? A lot of people, you didn't do that. What's your immediate reaction, right? A lot of people, I hear it all the time. I can't defend myself. I'm like, why do you have to defend yourself instead of gain clarity, instead of gaining understanding and say, hey, you know what? It hurt me that you did this. I felt disrespected. I felt this way. There's a difference between coming to our partner versus at one another where we're bashing, where we're, just belittling, ripping each other away. And this goes for not only in our personal relationships, parent-child relationships, it also can work in the workplace as well, right? So we get more done. We get heard on a regular basis the way we communicate and talk. So how many people are going to yell and scream at each other and they expect that their partner is going to listen more, right? I always joke around with couples all the time. What, you yelling and screaming and the one that yells and screams the loudest wins? Is that how it works? I'm joking. I don't want that. I'm looking at as soon as someone raises their voice, how often, how frequently does the other one just shut down, doesn't say anything, or what's going to happen is they start fighting back. They start yelling, matching energy with energy, right? So we need to stop that. So if you are talking to your partner like a child, you need to stop. In examples of talking to a child, I gave some, right? Take out the trash. Do this. Do that. You didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me. It's like you're demanding and talking to them from a place of authority, and your partner is that child, that subordinate. That's not going to work that well at all, okay? Hey, Javier, hey, what's happening? Mick. Again, throw your comments, throw your questions down below, people, and I'm going to do the best I can to answer them, okay? So, look at we all get frustrated. We get mad. We get hurt. I understand that, but how you express that is huge, people. How are you able to understand, hey, I want to express this so I'm more apt to be heard and understood and respected? So, do you match anger and then you're wondering why you get anger back? That doesn't justify it, but think about it for a minute. Even ask your partner, do I talk to you like a child at times? Or some people will try to manipulate, they'll try to guilt trip into getting their way. And that's where you look at those situations about when they say, hey, why are you pouting? Why are you trying to guilt trip me? I'm not going to change my answer. It's a way they communicate, trying to manipulate you, trying to get you to agree with them or change your answer, right? So those are situations when you act like a child, are you going to be treated like a child, right? Who's trying to guilt trip you? I'm talking about your partner, right? It's those situations. It could be your partner. It could be your children, if you have them, right? It could be a friend. It could be a family member. How many people, when you look at, they try to guilt trip you. Oh, I'm your mother. You shouldn't, you should do everything I want because I'm your mother. I'm your father. You should do everything I want to be able to, because I'm your brother, I'm your sister. Those guilt trip, those manipulation aspects. I told them to pack their bags if they're trying to put me on a guilt trip. But do we have to be that severe? Or can we say, hey, you know what? Knock it off. Your guilt trips are not going to work. Tell me, I want to know what you're feeling, but don't try to guilt trip me. So we can go to that situation, how we communicate and how we handle that. We're not calling them names. We're not belittling them. We're not demeaning them, but we're also commanding respect for ourselves. Win-win situation. Am I saying it's easy? Not at all. And if they don't stop, then we can say, hey, you know what? Now you need to be able to look at, come and talk to me. I want to talk to you. I want to know what you're feeling. But, you need to stop trying to guilt trip me. Are you a psychologist or psychiatrist in this field? Yes. At the beginning, I always do a intro about me. I am a licensed professional counselor here in Detroit, Michigan, and have been, for a little over 23 years now. Yeah, I'm old. I'm old as dirt. And I specialize in marriage, couples counseling, relationships, sex counseling. And I do have a lot of grief, a lot of trauma experience. So, yes, I am a professional in the field, if that helps answer your question, okay? Now you're still young. I wish I was young. But thanks. I appreciate that. So I want people to understand, again, I tell people at the beginning, I am not perfect. I don't know everything. I'm not the most perfect communicator or speaker there is. But now I look at, what I can do to help people and give people tips and ideas, not to be perfect, that can work in your relationship. And also, let's face it, I just gave examples about parenting dynamics too, or with, friendships, with relatives. So there's a lot of situations we can do. We can call people out on them trying to guilt trip us or trying to manipulate us. We can do it using respect, right? We don't have to name call. We don't have to belittle, demean them. And that's where a lot of people get into the situation where they don't feel heard. Now I ask, what's going on that you're not being heard, or you feel like you're not being heard? Is it the way you talk to your partner, or are you talking at them? Are you do you ask for situations? Do you request or do you demand? So right off the bat, a lot of people might look at, like, take out the garbage. Take out the garbage. I told you to, make the bed. I can't believe you don't listen to me. And this is their wife, their husband, their boyfriend, girlfriend. You get me? Their partner, doesn't matter. And you're like, why are you talking to me this way? Right? Now, let's be honest. If they ask, hey, hon, could you please take the trash out? Awesome, great, terrific. Hey, when you get a minute, can you take the trash out? And then it's like, oh, just a reminder, hey, you forgot to take the trash out. Oh, my bad, I'm sorry. But if it comes to the 5th time, you're going to be a lot more firm and direct, and you're going to be pissed off. You're going to be angry. Oh, my, I reminded you 5 times. How come the trash isn't taken out? Again, you're not name calling. You're not belittling. I'm not saying it's easy, but these are situations about how you can communicate when there is a challenge or when there's a problem, right? It's when everything's good, it tends to prove that you're communicating well. You understand each other. You're listening well. I've heard this over and over for 23 years. I tell people, right? So I get it. It's when there's challenges, when there's disagreements. Now, how do you communicate those situations? It's the same thing. I want to hear you. Oh, you don't want to hear me. No, I want to hear you, and I do hear you. I just disagree with you. So there's a situation where how you communicate, how you make sure your partner is heard, and how you're heard. Hey, I hear you. Some people talk, and they're talking for 5-10 minutes. Oh, yeah, you don't listen to me. And then their partner repeats everything they said. And their partner's like, what? Really? I didn't know you were listening or hearing me. Part of communication could be nonverbals. A head nod. Nope. It could be little verbal inputs, if you will. I hear you. I get you. Hey, I understand. Hey, that sucks. How do you let your partner know they're being paid attention to, that they're actually being heard, and what might be also as important, that you actually care and get what they're saying, right? How many times, part of communication, I don't care about that, so I'm not even going to listen. So what does that tell your partner, how you're communicating with them? You're telling them and communicating with them and expressing to them that you don't care. You don't want to know. You don't have any intention of caring. Not that it has to be important to you, but your partner is important to you, right? How often, when you look at, for those out there that have kids, right? And you might not have any inkling what they're talking about. You could care less what little Jimmy said or whatever, right? But you make your child feel important. You make them feel heard. You get me? You're paying attention to their kid. But yet, you don't do the same thing for your partner. I get it. I understand. We're busy. We're stressed out, working, life happens, bills, the economy's in the toilet. So we can look at all these aspects, but again, we have to look at what is going on and what are we doing to pay attention to our partner. And also with communication, we have to look at, do we grab our person's attention? There's a lot of times we might be talking and we feel like our partner, they're not listening, they're not whatever. And they're like, huh, what? You're not even listening to me. How many times have we done that, right? How many times have you been accused of not listening? And you're like, what? I don't even know you were talking to me. And we could be next to each other, but they're engaged, let's be honest, watching TV or glued in our phone, or maybe we're, reading a book or doing something, right? Maybe those people that do spreadsheets, I'm filling out the bills and our, bills for the month or whatever, whatever it is. We're engaged in something else and our partner thinks we should be listening. And I tell people part of communication is trying to get them, grab their attention first, call their name, and not say, hey, dickhead, don't, you know what? Don't be derogatory, okay? So that's where you look at those situations in those dynamics. So make sure you grab their attention and then say, hey, you got a minute. Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, I want to run this by you. And if they say, you know what? Hey, can you give me a minute? Let me finish this right now. Great, terrific, right? So again, you're respecting them, but they're also respecting you and telling you they want to hear you, but they're telling you, you know, give a time. Now there's a, you know, if it's an emergency, right? The house is burning, that type of situation, that's going to dictate a different trend, if you will. Okay? So grab their attention. And this goes with kids either. A lot of people, you're not even listening to me. And grab their attention first. Hey, Billy, I want to run something by you. Hey, Susie, hey, can you come here? That type of situation. Make sure you grab that person's attention. And then, hey, I want to run by you. Or if they say, give me a minute. Oh, you don't want to hear me. No, they just are in the middle. So you're respecting them, their time, and they're also respecting you. It's a win-win, and it's going to help when you start communicating in this manner. It's going to make things a lot simpler. You're going to both feel respected, and you are both going to be, feeling more connected. Okay. Question. Is a marriage a contract or a covenant? Now, it depends what your perspective is. Legally, marriage is a contract, okay? Now, when you're talking from a religious view, that point, they're going to say it's a covenant. Me, professionally, I look at marriage, it's an agreement. It is an agreement to try to work together and looking at that situation, legally, marriage cannot be a contract, but it's broken, right? Even divorces, even Michigan, right? It's a no-fault state divorce. Like some contracts are broken, right? There's ways to get out of certain contracts, correct? A lease agreement on a car. You might have to pay a certain fee, right? So when you're talking about, a legal aspect, you get me. Now, there's some people, I'm not religious at all, so I get your question about a covenant. A marriage originally was a legal binding contract, okay? Two people might have had sex, and that made their legal situation. So now, if a marriage were a contract, the marriage would be dissolved once a promise is broken. It depends on what that promise is. You get me? And I understand where you're coming from this, William. Okay? I understand where you're coming from this. But again, it could be dissolved if it's chosen to be dissolved. Somebody a promise to be faithful. It's you cheated, but you still have to go to dissolve that contract, correct? You have to take the legal aspects to dissolve that contract based on your partner cheating on you. Now, when you look at it from an aspect, right, you have to look, and I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, I'm looking from a professional, marriage counselor, if you will, couples counselor. It's your choice if you want to dissolve that contract or not, correct? So that's how I look at it. It's a matter of a choice. Now, some people, you look at it, it's a marriage covenant from a religious stance, which I am not. Because, okay, it's a covenant. You got married. It's a legal, or a religious contract, a religious covenant. But then your partner beats your ass all the time. They abuse you. They cheat on you often. But you're supposed to stay married no matter what. I think that is unhealthy. And that's just wrong. Let's be real. If you want to choose to be in that situation, again, that is, that's your choice. But a lot of people with, when it comes to marriages, legally, religious aspects, again, they're going to try to guilt trip you. No matter what, we're supposed to stay together forever, right? So, but then you have, a covenant, is basically, let's be real, a covenant is based on a religious connotation, regardless of what religion it is. Usually when you use the word covenant, most people, right? And it could be real estate too, right? I get you where you're coming from. But covenant, most people refer to covenant as a religious doctrine, if you will, okay? But I get where you're saying. So, but getting back to the, so your choice to, first you have to look at getting back to communication. Do you look at, what a communication is, what your expectations are? One person, if you cheat on me, I'm communicating clear with you, our marriage will be dissolved, right? Some people might communicate clearly, but then change their mind. Their partner cheats on them, and that's mostly what I work with, okay? There's a way to remedy that. There's a way to heal that. It's how it's handled, okay? So I appreciate it. It's a great question, William. It is a great question. So, and, going back to the communication aspects, how do you handle it when someone breaks a promise, when someone hurts you, when someone, maybe degrades you, when someone, we could go on and on about this, right? And that's what the most difficult situation is, how you communicate. When I mentioned, before, your great question is, how you communicate in places of trouble. How do you communicate when the shit hits the fan? How do you communicate when you are hurt, when you are angry, when you are devastated? It's not easy. It's not easy to say, oh, you ripped my heart out. I can't believe you cheated on me, and maintain to be calm and civil. I tell people, let's be real. Chances are it's not going to happen. At first, it's not going to happen. We do have to get to a point to where you are civil and you are able to hear each other and show remorse and show that you're guilty, show that you care. And these are all ways to communicate. If you communicate that you don't care, you don't express remorse, then it comes to a problem. How are you going to heal that relationship? How are you going to heal? And that relationship, again, could be parent-child. It could be a relative relationship, adult-child with a mother, siblings, right? So it goes down to the situation. How you communicate matters, okay? So when you have challenges, disagreement, are you able to speak to, and I try to teach this to my clients and my couples on a daily basis. Can you speak from the hurt? Man, I was ripped apart. I can't believe you, devastated. I would never thought you would ever cheat on me or come close to cheating on me. I never thought you would do that. And you can speak with passion. You can speak with the hurt and the pain and not yell and degrade and belittle and rip each other apart, right? And the violent aspects too. That can play a part, right? The hitting, the punching, kicking, throwing stuff at each other. We need to get rid of that. We are human, right? That doesn't justify or condone our actions. So how we communicate our pain is crucial when it comes down to, healing disagreements. Now, I said at the beginning, right? You could talk clearly. You can understand each other, respect each other. And one wants a child, the other one does not. It's not going to work. Let's be honest, right? So we can communicate. Then you have to communicate dissolving the relationship or marriage unless one of you changes your mind, right? One person wants monogamy and the other one wants to be swingers or have an open relationship. And you're arguing back and forth, but why are you arguing, right? You're arguing because you're hurt. Your expectations are not being met. And you feel like you're not loved, you're not valued because that person is not giving you what you want. That's what it comes down to. And let's face it, you also might not be giving your partner what they want. Now it turns into you don't feel loved. You don't feel you can be loved. It's just not going to work. the old adage, right? Sometimes love is not enough. And it's true, right? You can love each other. That doesn't mean you're going to get along with each other. But how you communicate and how you work out problems that aren't, how can I say this, that are not deal breakers, okay? It matters. So coming to each other, not at each other. You know, talking to each other out of respect. Asking, not demanding. You get me? So whatever it is, hey, I'd like it if you were able to do this. How many people, you know, if you were in bed and you didn't have a great sexual experience, right? And your partner says, oh my God, you don't know what you're doing. Boy, you're terrible. What would you do? How would your reaction be? Me, confident enough, I'd want to say, hey, teach me better, right? I was terrible. I want to get better. Great, terrific. But most people are going to feel just devastated, just crushed, right? Not wanting to learn from it, but they're going to feel crushed. And see if I ever do this again, and let me know how it's going to work, and let me know how you are going to communicate to heal that without yelling, screaming, or one person is just shutting down. And why would you touch that hot stove again, right? And get burnt. So how we communicate things, hey, I'd love it if you did this. Man, I'd really love it if you did this. That you teaching. So how you communicate, right, without belittling, degrading, is huge. It's going to make your partner feel more open to listening. It's going to make them feel more apt to show care and kind and respect if you do the same, okay? Now, how we communicate, a lot of people will take things out of context, right? Let's look at, oh boy, all over social media about the political debacle in this country right now, right? And you have things that get taken out of context. And maybe you can relate. When one partner will come up to you, you told me you would do this. And your partner is like, no, I said I might do that. You get me? Will and might. Again, it's about communicating clarity, right? How do you communicate that instead of running with something? Instead of, assuming, right? Oh, you told me you would do this. No, I said I might do this. I may do this. Big difference, right? So how you communicate and how you get clarity is that situation, right? And a lot of people will argue and communicate about, oh, you told me you would take care of that soon. Yeah, I did. Well, it's been 10 minutes. You said soon. And their definition of soon is a day or two. You get me? And all of a sudden, you lied to me. It's not lying. It's a difference of perception. Now, if you communicate clearer, there'll be less chances for arguing, yelling, screaming, right? Hey, Scotty, what's happening, man? So how you communicate and how you communicate to understand and get clarity, that's what's most important, right? So now, hey, what does soon mean to you? Oh, a day or two. Oh, okay. It'd be great if you could get it done within a couple hours instead of a day. You have clarity about what soon means, what fast means, right? What quick means. There's a lot of times where arguments start based on misperceptions. I thought this is what you said. No, this is what I said. And they take things out of context or they have different meanings, right? I want you to be more affectionate. Well, what does that mean? What does more mean and what does affection mean? So I'm not trying to microscope you. Not at all, people. I want you to get more clarity so you have better understanding, so you have more chances for disagreements, okay? Now, what does more mean? Do you quantify it with a number, right? I want you to hug me at least 3 times a day. Now, and then we can get into, are they doing it just to do it out of obligation to meet the agreement? Or do you want them to do it because they mean it? It's coming from the heart and soul. You get me? So that's where a lot of people understand where there's these relationship coaches out there, they have no clue at the dynamics of the ins and outs, the psychology involved, the nuances, the personality aspects about that. And, there's some good ones. I'm not going to belittle all of them. There's some decent ones, but you wonder why a graduate degree is needed and specialization outside of that. And I'm not bragging, not at all. But there's a lot of dynamics that are at play and at work when it comes into relationship dynamics, right? How we communicate, sex, emotional connection, intellectual connection. There's so much chemistry, right? So going back to, the bedroom situation, if you are able to, hey, I would like this better versus, belittling, demeaning. Hey, I asked you to do it this way. How come you're not? Is this something you're not into, you don't like, or that type of situation? You get me? So there's more clarity if something is not happening. So going back to affection, right? More affection. What does more affection look like? Do you want it just out of obligation, or do you want it to be felt? Excuse me. And also, what does affection mean? Fist bump? Woohoo! A punch in, a little punch in the arm. What type of affection? Do you want more kisses? Do you want more hugs? Oh, I love the way we hug, but I'd like it to be longer. See? You're communicating clearly. When you have clear communication and understanding, chances are things can go a lot smoother. You get me? So, again, not microscoping, but I want there to be communicating to understand. You get me? So, what does intimacy mean? Oh, I'd love you to grab my butt more, or slap my butt when you walk by more. So there's everybody's different on what they're looking for. Man, I remember when you used to walk by and slap my butt. You haven't done that in 20 years. I miss that. And their partner doesn't even know that or whatever, right? And they're like, oh, you know what? You're right. I haven't. And all these aspects create a decrease in communication. They create an increase in feelings of not feeling loved, desired, wanted. And how we communicate about these create more problems. That's why I'm talking about this and why it's so important. And the number one problem I told at the very beginning, I said, the calls I get, our communication sucks, Greg. We can't communicate without arguing. We don't understand each other. But I get to the root of each other is that how you communicate. Chances are yes. Is it that you're not able to communicate about problems? Chances are yes, not always. Or when you're talking about them, you're yelling and screaming and not understanding. You're trying to get your way. You're trying to force feed your opinion down your partner's throats instead of understanding and listening and trying to communicate what works for both of you. Now, yeah, there are deal breakers no matter how well you communicate, right? You communicate clearly about buying a car or a house, renting a house or buying a house. You communicate clearly. That doesn't mean you're going to agree on everything and go through with the deal, right? So some of those deals are deal breakers and they dissolve a marriage. They dissolve a relationship. I tell people all the time, not every marriage can be saved or should be saved. But again, it's getting to the root and being able to communicate where you can get to that situation and that event, okay? So again, I appreciate everybody trying to join as co-hosts. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. But I don't know if it's spammers, whatever going on. Unless I know you, that's why I'm not accepting. So it's not out of disrespect. Not at all. I respect all of you. I appreciate all your time that you take listening, okay? So that's where I want people to look at, in further communication. Like I said, are you coming at each other or to each other? Are you being respectful? Are you asking, requesting, not demanding? And also your tone, right? We can be so nice in how our tone is, right? Are we, some people, I'm direct. We can be direct and say, hey, I'd like you to change that. That's direct. Oh, yeah? You need to change that. Tone is different, right? Same words, different tonality. So our tone is important to us as well, right? The tone is also talking to maybe our partner like a child, or we're being talked to as a child. And some people will argue and rant and rave. I'm not talking that way. I didn't use that tone. Happens all the time in my office. I didn't do that. I didn't say it that way. I wasn't angry. I wasn't direct. I wasn't overly direct. I wasn't rude. And I'll tell them, hey, this is what I heard. You get me? That I heard, yeah, you were maybe a little angry. Or no, your person was not angry. They were passionate, but I didn't take that they were angry. So it's getting them to understand listening to each other differently, how you communicate. Even if your partner, and you're arguing, I wasn't rude at all. I was being direct. Now, how do we communicate differently? Instead of arguing and being right or wrong, can we communicate, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be rude. You get me? I wasn't trying to have any tone on it. So you're the tone police, right? No, not at all. It depends on the session. So, but also, can you look at the possibilities? When you communicate, could you look at you might have had a tone? Could you also communicate, maybe you heard there was a tone, maybe there wasn't. Maybe, maybe you were more passionate and I took it as you were angry. My bad, I'm sorry. You get me? So I'm also, when it comes to tone or even words, maybe I heard you this way. We could be wrong, right? How many people look at, the grapevine scenario where you could, as little kids, right? You're passing, the purple ring. And by the time you get, 10 kids or 15 kids down the road, the last kid hears, the elephant jumped over the rainbow from a purple ring. And you're like, what? You get me? So there's a lot of times we could hear things differently based on our mood. We're depressed. We're pissed off. We hear everything as angry, right? As being attacking. So tone is important. Words we use are important. Again, it's not being perfect. It's being able to have the humility and the confidence to admit that we could be wrong. You know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have snapped at you. Your partner, hey, why'd you snap at me? You snapped at me. Now you have two people snapping, right? I didn't snap at you. Yes, you did. Now both people are snapping, right? Hey, why'd you snap at me? Big difference. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap. Or, I didn't snap at you, I thought you did. Now you know what? I felt like you snapped at me. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have snapped. That doesn't mean it's a definitive right or wrong, but again, our pride, our ego get in the way. Our insecurities pop out that we need to be right instead of it's not a right or wrong. And we're not talking about manipulating. We're not talking a definitive right or wrong. Like I use this, hey, Greg, you're holding your coffee cup in your hand. And I'm like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? You get me? I'm not talking about lying, manipulating. I'm talking about possibly making a mistake, making an error. You get me? So how we communicate is important, people. When we start showing more respect, we start asking, we start requesting instead of demanding. And this goes even with kids, right? But with kids, there's consequences, right? Hey, I asked you, reminded you, and now you lose your phone. You get me? First off, make sure we have our person's attention or our kid's attention. Then we talk to them with common courtesy, right? We ask, we request. And then, a reminder, and we're going to be firm as we go along. Oh my God, I told you 10 times, right? We're human. We're going to blow up because we're going to feel we're deliberately not listened to. We're deliberately, I can't see, I trip over my tongue like I mentioned at the beginning. We feel like we're deliberately disrespected, not heard, that we're being disrespected, all those things, right? That's how we feel. And that might be the truth. It might not be. Some people have, small attention spans. But then it gets to the point where how are we communicating? We can't control how everybody else is communicating. We can control, and it starts with us. So I'm going to challenge you to communicate. Watch your tone. Are you asking and requesting versus demanding? Are you talking to your partner like a child? And that's part of it, like demanding whatever. You need to stop. Ask your partner. Look at clarity of words, right? May or might versus will or definitely. You get me? So ask for clarity. What do you mean by more? What do you mean by soon? What do you mean by soon? You don't have to snap, right? Hey, what's soon to you? Just so I have an idea. You get me? It's like going outside here in Michigan, right? It's winter out. Is it cold out? No, it's not that bad out. Your partner goes outside. You lied to me. It's freezing. They didn't lie to you. It wasn't that cold out to them. Again, it's subjective, right? It's perspective. They didn't lie to you. But can you learn each other? Oh, it might be cold for you. You can learn each other, right? So when you ask somebody, oh, is it hot? Like food, spicy. I don't do well with super spicy food. And some people might say, oh, it's not that spicy at all. I taste it and it's super spicy. Were they lying to me? No. It's just their perspective. So when you get more clarity and more understanding of what your words mean, things can go smoother. You can get more connected. And remember, when you are in a disagreement, an argument, you're not going to agree on everything. Are you communicating respect? Are you communicating that you care about what your partner has to say and what they think? Even if you still disagree, do you still feel respected? Does your partner feel that way? Do you feel that way? A lot of people will assume if their partner disagrees with them, they feel like they're dumb, stupid, not important. No, not at all. You're just disagreeing. Now, if you call your partner names, belittling, demeaning, then you're being disrespectful. You're being an ass. Plain and simple. That needs to stop. Oh, that was a dumb idea. Why would you ever think about that? See? Belittling, demeaning, that needs to stop. So that's where I want people to understand how you communicate. And you're wondering why your partner doesn't want to be close to you. They don't want to be intimate with you. And they try to tell you, but you don't change because your perspective is right. You don't feel what you say is bad, it's wrong. Again, it's perspective. So you're wondering why your partner, you're not close to each other, why your partner doesn't want to have sex with you. And this goes with men, women. It's not a gender thing. You wonder why your partner isn't talking to you as much as they used to, why they're not maybe spanking your butt, being playful with you anymore. It's how you communicate with them. When you're upset, when you're angry, when you have an issue with them, how you communicate is crucial. When you look at when there's a disagreement and you start implementing, watching your tone, showing that you do care, that you are respectful, you're going to start seeing your relationship and marriage turn around in a lot better way, okay? Now, if you have severe disagreements, like I said, one wants a kid, the other one doesn't. One wants sex once every 6 months, and the other one wants it 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. Now you got huge issues. You got a lot bigger issues. Now we can look at the why, what's causing that, or that's just who that person is. Now you have deeper issues to look at, and is this going to be a deal breaker in your marriage or your relationship? A gentleman mentioned earlier about a covenant. That doesn't mean that covenant is going to last or should last, okay? I don't want anyone to be miserable. Nothing's perfect. I want people to look at everything, try everything to work on and trying to resolve and heal relationships and marriage. But again, what are you doing with that? Are you trying? Are both of you trying? And then after that, does it look like it's just not going to work? Because we want different things. We want to live, maybe a different lifestyle, a different life. And it doesn't mean we don't care. But a lot of people assume that because they're not giving us what we want, right? Two people can want totally two different things. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. You get me? So work on this, put this in place, share this all over, and I'm hoping these tips and these ideas and insights can help you. Again, follow me, all over the place at LoveGuruGreg, social media. You can listen to watch every episode of the Art of Relationship show. The easiest is on TikTok, again, at LoveGuruGreg. You can check that out, and it's at the bottom of the screen, at least on, not on TikTok, I don't believe, but you can check it out, my profile on TikTok and Instagram and other formats, okay, platforms. Check them out. That's the easiest. Follow me. I'd be so flattered. At LoveGuruGreg on all social media platforms. Throw out ideas. If you want me to cover a topic, DM me, private message me. Hey, Greg, I want you to cover this. I'd be flattered. I'm always looking for ideas to talk about. I'm here for you, okay? I want to help you out and increase the chances that you can have a lot better, more connected marriage or relationship, okay? Peace and love to everybody out there. Take care. Bye, everybody.